I'll show you the positions we're going to go in today so you know what's coming, and I'll give you some sort of guidance as we do it, but we'll be doing quite a bit, obviously sitting on the ball in the usual way, quite a bit of bouncing, especially for Susie, she loves a bounce. Other positions we're going to be in, so there will be a bit of sort of coming to stand, and I'll give you options. There will be some standing, and I'm going to give you options. I know you can't see my head, but you can, there are options when we hold the ball and options where you don't hold the ball and you have the ball behind you and you almost lean into it a little bit. You could have a chair next to you too, or a stick for balance, and don't worry about holding the ball. So that depends on lots of things, like how easy it is for you to hold the ball or how challenging, and whether you prefer to be that way round. The other position that we're going to go into is this one. Again, I'm going to give you options, and you could take it to the floor instead. We're going to end on the floor anyway, doing things down there. But this is the other sort of main position we're in. We'll take our time getting there because it's a tricky one, I think, to get to. Anybody need to tell me anything before we start or ask anything? Right. Hazel, is that some sneaky weights there as well? Or is it an
inhaler?
Okay.
I just thought I'd have it before I start, because last time I tried this, so it was quite bad.
Well, hopefully we're going to take it gently. I'm just trying to make the full screen. My thighs are just killing us. I'm just standing there like that, trying to find the right button. Right. So starting, sitting either slightly forwards or right on the ball. If you want to feel more sort of upright and less like you're having to support everything, lean the ball back on something. And if you want even more than that, take yourself to a corner. So there's some, your ball is like wedged into the corner, because that will just make it easier. If you want more challenge, be just like this. Hi, Jake. The legs quite wide to start, and just check your feet are not going to slip and slide too much, because I want to put a bit of pressure into them. We've got to give it a little bounce just to, you know, warm up. This is when I look at you, I don't know how long I can look at you all now doing that. Lovely. And then let that settle, be heavy and still, grow a little taller. Just the toes, one side and then the other, trying to peel them up. And my legs are not right back against the ball, they're a little bit forward, so there's a bit of a space between my calves and the ball and the sides of my legs. I would say it's a generous 90, and it could be a little more forwards than that, especially if your knees really hurt. So you can always take it more forwards. Now you can have your hands on the ball, but it's more challenging to move your hands inwards, put them on your legs. And if you want a little more challenge, just move them up to your chest. So the more sort of closer to the body you get, the harder it gets. We could even take them up and hold our head. Not yet. Let's not go crazy just yet. Right, from this position, wherever your hands are, we're all like this, looking very saintly. Bring your legs in a little. So it's more like you would be in a standing or a seated Pilates class. Now we're going to go into pelvic tilts. So you can keep your arms where they are, very small pelvic tilts. Use your breath just like you normally would. So you breathe in, and then your belly does this little tightening coming towards you, pubic bone tilts towards nose. It's all the usual stuff, it's just you're on a ball. Now, if you'd like to check in with your hands and just see how that feels, you can do. And just get an idea if your bum is having a little bit of a squeeze, because it may try to, because it's got the squishiness of the ball. It doesn't need to. We want it really from the belly. That's it. And then with your hands up here or down here, little sideways, and then the other way. Now we've got our legs quite close together, and it's a nicer feeling if you take them a little wider and push your bum one way and push your bum the other. That's it. Wider legs is going to give you more stability. And you can take it really quite wide if you're comfortable to. And you'll feel that one leg sort of straightens a little bit. That's it. We're going to go more into that later. And then bring your arms down, bring your legs to a comfortable width for you. Give your shoulders a little roll there, a little semicircle rainbow arc. That's it. Could go into a full roll if you want to. Lovely. Tap the back of your head and take your face and your head just back a little, like you're just about to lean against a wall, and make sure that you're growing tall. Check in with your ribs. Does it feel like they're thrusting forwards a little bit? You can put your hand there and have a feel. Do you need to just pull back slightly? It might be you need to go the other way. They feel like they're coming towards you and you're sort of squashing it at the front. So just that little feel, and then turn your head. You can have your hands on your legs or your hand on the ball. And you're breathing anytime you want to. Come back to the center, ear towards shoulder, and then the other side. Doesn't need to be big. That's it. And then look ahead and just get your bearings and your balance, and start with the toe raises again. One toe, then the other, maybe both toes. Babs, your cat is just thinking, what are you doing? And now toes down, heels up. If your legs are a little farther forwards, it won't feel very big. That's it. And then feet down. Move your legs a little closer, more like the 2 fists apart that we'd have in seated. Same thing, toes towards you. Few times. Check you're growing tall and you haven't shrunk down. And then press the feet down. Might want to hold the ball on this one because we're a little bit of a narrower base. Heels up. That's it. And then feet down. And then keeping hold of the ball, you can press down into it. You can see how high I went then just from pressing the top, but it might not be comfortable for your hands. You can also just hold the sides to be steady. We're going to try and peel a foot off the floor. Oh, and down. It's harder than it looks. And once you've got it, I find this easier with my legs closer together, even though it's narrower, but we're all going to be a little different on this. Just trying to do a little march, not with your arms though, just with your legs. Brilliant. You sort of find your way with this. The first one is always like the super wibbly wobbly one. Lovely. We could even do a little heel dig forwards. That's when your leg extends a little and it's like you're trying to put the brakes on really suddenly. It's that sort of, whoo, but we're not doing it super fast and suddenly. Lovely. Keeping that ball as still as you can. And one more each side. And then let your legs settle. It's that 2 fists apart again. And slide your hands forwards and backwards and get a little waist rotation. And now I want you to carry that on, but this time the legs can move a little forwards and backwards. So if I show you from the sides, see our knee comes forwards and then the other knee comes forwards, a bit like pistons on a train. Start small and see how it feels, and then you can always make it a little bigger. It just gets more into your back and your pelvis and moving those. Rest your hands. We're going to take a breath in, hands down onto the ball, And then palms up, we're going to scoop the hands upward as you breathe out. Like you're holding a big, very lightweight ball. Breath in, take them down. Breath out, scoop them up. Lovely. Breath in, down. Breath out, scoop them up. Beautiful. One more. As you scoop up, just push a little into your feet. Oh, that's it. Just feel like you're just rising up and then let everything come down and have a little wiggle, maybe a little circle. Sneaky bounce. Yeah, I can see it. Then we're going to bring the arms forwards. We're going to go into bow and arrow. So work one arm. Now, I often do it with my palms facing. Leanne often does it with her palms down. There's different effects. So if you really like it when you do it with Leanne and your palms are down, do it palms down. If you prefer it with your palms facing each other, do that. Or try both and see what you think. And I'm going for one side a few times. That's it. And then swap to the other side. There. Lovely. You're all beautifully steady. And then bring your arms back to the centre, have a little bounce. Just an up and down one. Maybe a little side to side. Excellent, no one's fallen off. And then we're keeping it still and steady, wider legs for a bit of side bending. One hand downwards on the ball to stabilise you. We can have hand to chest and go that way, but I don't want anything happening with your hips. I want them to stay steady. The opening is at the side, so it could be like this, it could be like this, or it could be like that. So choose which your favourite is, and you could always do it as a little progression. And stick to the same side. You're right, Penny.
Yep.
Don't we should overdo this one?
I'm on the good side at the moment.
Okay. And last bit on this side. And then something side to side or circly with your bum. And then we're going to do the other side. So hand down on the ball. You could have a hand on your chest. You could cradle your head. Think of your point of your elbow going up. But we don't want the bum sort of doing that. On the ball, it really sort of almost forces us to do that. And we're going to resist it. So it's keeping your bum very steady on the ball. And remembering to breathe at some point. One or two more. And then we'll go for a little side to side again. And then a circle. You can do a little tiny circle and feel what it's like to do a little circle. The legs don't really get involved. And that's all about your pelvis and your back and your belly. And then make that circle bigger and you can feel your legs can get involved as well. Your feet can push you around a little bit. And then we're going to do the same the other direction. So start small and keep the legs as still as you can. That's it. And then push into your feet a little bit, push into your legs. So you might feel it through your thighs, you might feel it through your lower leg, you might feel it through the soles of your feet, making it bigger. And then your legs as wide as is comfortable for you. I want you to take it a little side to side, just starting to straighten the leg a little. It's not going to go completely straight, but you just want it not as bent as when it's like 90 degrees. You can have your hands on the ball and you might find your back starts to come forward a bit, and that's fine. So you sort of hinge forwards a little bit. You could even put your hands here if you wanted. Just start to feel it more along the back of the legs doing that. And now take your hands to your thighs. Bring your feet a little closer to your ball if they're quite far away. I just want to move my mat so I know that it's not going to slip. We're going to bounce a little now, and we're starting to push downwards. And if you look at your lower leg as you do this, your lower leg is quite vertical. So it's not knees forwards and they're ahead of your ankles. It's quite straight. That's it. Now you can have your hands on your thighs. You could have your hands in your ball and you could push into your ball a little bit. Gives you a little bit of an extra oomph. We're not getting up, by the way. We're just working the thighs. I'm sure you can feel them. That's it. Now, if you want to almost get up and hover and then, sit down again, you can do and have a little bounce. If you want to stay where you are, you can. If you want to straighten a leg and then straighten the other leg, sort of heel digs out to the side, that might be nice. And then we're going to come to standing. So think what works best for you to come to standing. It might be you use your arms and you swing and you come upright. It might be you press into your legs just like we were doing before. You might have another way of doing it. But bring yourself up to standing. I'm just hoping the ball doesn't roll somewhere. Nearly rolled out of the room before and then down the stairs, which would have been really fun. Right. Now we're going to do a little hip hinge. You can either do it with the ball in front of you and your hands go towards it like this. They sort of touch it and you send your bum back and your back stays straight. Or you could have it behind something. So it's against a wall or a sofa and your legs are really pressed against it. And then you can feel the back of your legs touching it. And your hands might come forwards. Mine naturally sort of go in that position, but they could just come forwards like that. It's a really nice way to get that hip hinge. We're not going full squat. We're just getting a nice hip hinge going. That's it. Now, if you want to, and it's wedged against something and it won't just roll away, you could even go to almost sit on it a little bit and come up. If it's loose, it could roam around. Don't do that. It's just we're going to do that and you're going to end up with your bum on the floor. And one or two more. Very nice. And then have the best rest you can have standing up. So you might want to shake things around. You might want a little walk on the spot. Just something to loosen your legs off. Now, the next thing we're going to do is some heel raises. You can do them leaning against the ball with the calves against the ball. It gives you some support and be as upright as possible. So that's one option. You can also do it holding the ball close to you. And you'll be doing it like, so come this way, like this. So get your option, hug the ball in if you're using it, or lean your calves against it. Whoa. Feet pointing forwards, mine keep going in all sorts of directions. That's it. Little ones, don't need to go super tall. That's it. And if you're holding this ball in, see if you can find something to look over the top of it. If I hold it that way, you won't see anything. That's it. You could also go into a real drop down and sort of make a real thud onto your heels if you want to do that. That's an option. And this is for anyone who feels like they've got extra energy today. Take it so the weight is in one leg. You could even take the other foot off the floor. I'm not going to. This foot's not going to like it. Just a little more on one side. Don't do too many. You'll feel the ache tomorrow. And then maybe the other side as well. So the other foot is just very light on the floor, or you might come to the ball of the other foot. And you're just giving it some on one side. Well done. Right, now, if you're hugging the ball, take your legs wider. And we're sort of going to sway and swing side to side. If you are against your ball, take your legs wider and let your arms just have a little sway across and feel the ball behind your calves. Perfect. And then place the ball down. Now, the next place we're going to go, I'm just going to turn this over before I do it, is lying on the ball. I'm going to show you different ways to do it. You might want to have cushions at your sides as you do this. Let me just get that all in line. You need to check you've got space either side of your ball. It's not one where you can really wedge a ball anywhere else. And I lower myself down so my bum is more at the front end. And then I sort of, legs wide, gradually shimmy backwards. But it's quite awkward. I haven't got like a really easy way to do this. Some people do it from the floor and they sort of come up like that. You want your head and neck supported. I also find my hair gets stuck, and I've got a hoodie on today and that's doing all sorts of stuff. Right, are we all okay? Hazel, are you all right with this one?
Yeah, I can't can't do it, so my head and neck are supported.
Yeah, so I would stay sitting.
Okay.
I think your ball is a little bit on the small side.
Yeah, I think I need a bigger one.
Now, there's only so long we can stay in this position because it's quite hard on the bum and the thighs, as you're probably feeling. Babs, would you rather sit? Perfect. Right, if you're sitting, could you pelvic tilt? If you are lying on your ball, your arms can either go down by your sides, partly supported by the ball, or I quite like hands on my belly. And press into your feet. And I'd like you to drop your bum down so you can feel your back against the ball, and then push your hips up. That's it. Now, if you are seated on the ball, I want you to put your hands either side of the ball. So they're sort of, yeah, that's it. And now I want you to push down into your legs and squeeze your bum cheeks together and feel yourself go higher. And then release and feel yourself sink down. We're all getting glute activation. If you're lying back on the ball, now move your feet a little closer. You might give your bum a little bit of a wiggle. You can either put your hands on your chest and you're just gonna, it's like you're trying to roll to one side of your back and roll to the other. You're just giving yourself a little tilt. If you're seated on the ball, like to put your hands on your chest and have a little lean one way and a little lean the other. You're sort of rotating, maybe leaning back a little bit. That's it. Lovely. Very nice. Right, if you've got your back on the ball, check that you're still feeling supported. You can come to seated at any time. We're going for some heel raises now. So your arms either at the sides of the ball or on your chest. If you are sitting up, heel raises too, but hands on the ball. And if you're sitting up, start to move your legs closer together. If you're lying on the ball, don't. I'd like to keep your legs a little bit wider apart. That's it. And then if you're lying on the ball, I want you to lift your toes and the rest of your foot with the heels down. If you're seated on the ball, take one leg a little forwards and bring your foot up with the heel down, and then the other foot. That's it. You can also, if you're lying on the ball, cradle your head if that's available to you. It is with your arms quite high up. So it depends if it works for your shoulders. That's it. Right, now if you are lying against the ball, bring your arms down by the side, and you can either push into your legs and work your way up to sitting. That's one way. Or you can just walk yourself downwards towards the floor, whichever is your easiest way of doing it. We're going to make our way down to the floor, lying down, legs on the ball. Well done, because that's definitely the hardest section done. And if you want a cushion or anything underneath your pillow, underneath your head, go for it. So check first that you can get your head and back comfortable, and then get the ball wherever you can against your legs. We want it quite close, so it's hugging in towards the back of your thighs. And your legs, knees about 2 fists apart. They're not closed, they're not really snug close together. And feel that you can hug that ball in. Just give it a little squeeze towards you with the underneath of your legs, and then let it go away from you a little. Squeeze it towards you and let it go away. That's it. And a few of those. And then rest the legs and take the arms out to the sides. They're definitely towards the T sort of position. And check that the ball is really hugged in so you can feel it right against the back of your thighs. And now sway your legs a little side to side. And you'll start to feel the edge of where you can go and then where you think, no, that would be too far. So just let it go a little further if you're happy with it. And then bring it back to the centre. You can always do a little backwards and forwards there. And then sway to the other side. And bring it back to the centre. And if you want a break from those turns, just let your head roll. And have a little roll side to side as well. So lovely. And a couple more of those sways. You're definitely all look like you're getting more comfortable with that. And make the next one the last one. And then relax the legs, just let them flop, because there's been quite a lot of tension holding that ball in really close. Just let them rest on the ball. They're not straight, they're not bent, they're sort of somewhere in between. And then take one arm and reach it across the body towards the other arm, and then let that go down. Same with the other side. So a little bit of rotation around your chest and your thoracic spine. That's it. Like you're reaching away and then you're reaching the other way. One more each side. And then change your foot position on the ball. So the soles of your feet are on the ball and your legs are in a 90-degree sort of position. Or at least some of the soles of your feet. I don't feel like I can get my toes on. It's the heels mainly. And give the ball a little push backwards and forwards. You can adjust your feet now. So you feel that you can give it a nice push and lengthen your legs away. That's it. And then we've still got our arms out to the side. Now, the more you move them in, you're just a little less stable. So if you like having a lot of stability and feeling very supported, leave them where they are. And if you want a bit less, either move them in towards the sides, or you could even put them like an X on your chest. Next time you come in and your legs are bent in a sort of tabletop position, just take one foot slightly off the ball, keep that one leg at tabletop, and the other foot's going to push the ball away about 5 or 6 times. That's it. And then bring it back, both feet on the ball, push it with both feet. And then bring it in, and the other side, that foot's going to hover off the ball, and this leg's going to push away all by itself. Lovely. And then bring it back, both feet on the ball, and bring it a little closer. Bring your arms out and go for another hip sway. Little side to side. That's it, lovely. And then come back to the middle. We're going to take the ball slightly to one side. So one leg is on it and the other leg is nearly on it. It's sort of hovering in the air and both legs are in a sort of L shape. With the leg that's on it, press down a little. So there's a little bit of pressure and you're holding that ball still. The other leg, open the knee out to the side and bring it in. You might be bringing it in and it touches the ball, or it might be floating in the air. Could be either. Floating in the air becomes more challenging. That's it. Now our arms are really spread out and giving us lots of base support. You could also, whilst you're doing this, take your arms up towards the ceiling. Oh my goodness, that feels harder. They don't have to be straight, by the way. They can be down on the floor as well. Oh goodness. And last one. And then move both legs on the ball. Again, arms out and a little sway side to side. It's like our reset for this section. And then nudge that ball over so it's more under the other leg. And then you've got one leg on it at 90 degrees and it's pushing down a little to hold it in place. And the other leg is either slightly touching it or it's just held in the air. And you're going to do the same thing. Move that knee away and the side of the leg. That's it. So that leg's opening out to the side. Now our arms again are in this lovely supportive T position. But if you want more, bring the arms either closer to your sides or up in the air. It just makes things work harder. The core really works hard to stabilize you here. Try doing it really, really slowly. And you want to feel your back doesn't want to roll over. It's all nice and stable. Well done, everybody. Amazing, amazing. And maybe you've got one or two more. And then bring both legs back on the ball. Let the arms flop down. And again, that little side to side. And then push the ball away a little bit so it's not touching your bum or the back of your legs, but your feet are on the top and your heels. And bring your arms closer into your sides. Pelvic tilts here. Just see what it feels like to do them. They probably won't be very big. You might want your legs forwards a little bit for this. You might want them at 90 degrees. You can just have a little experiment with this. And now let your legs go a little bit further forwards and feels what it's like to do it with your legs a little straighter. They're not completely straight. You've got the ball underneath. I don't want really straight legs because I'll see the hyperextension will kick in and there's too much pressure. But just starting to curl your bum up, so maybe it even lifts off the floor. And then lowering it down nice and slow. Now just check in that the backs of the knees don't start hurting, because there's a fair amount of pressure. We want to give it into our feet rather than the back of your knees. So this is where your leg angle can really change. That's it. And you can alternate this with a pelvic tilt and then lift your arms, maybe take them forwards and backwards, or just up a little and then down, and then a pelvic tilt or a little scoop up of your bum and your hips. That's it. Wonderful. One or two more. And then bring your legs closer and hug one leg, back of the thigh or on the shin. Just hug it in a little bit. That's it. You can give the leg a little straighten if you want to. That's it. And then swap over, and one's on the ball and the other's hugged in. You can really bring that ball super close, so both legs are very close to your chest, or you could have one a bit further away, more in a 90, or even further than that. It's quite nice with it straight as well. Some of you I know will like that. Yes. Lovely. Now the next position we're going to go in is, to finish, we're going to be seated against the ball with our back against it. So bring your legs in and we're going to roll onto our sides and push ourselves up. And then you want your ball behind you, but you want it against something. So sofa, wall, anything you can. Oh, I hope it doesn't roll away. Wide legs and lean back against it. Apply pressure. Have a little squish from side to side. That's it. Now, where your head position is in relation to your ball is going to depend a lot on the size of your ball. You might want to feel you can go backwards against your ball, and that might feel nice, or you might need to cradle that area so it feels a bit more supported. And just watch that your lower back isn't like pushing you forwards and sort of giving you a lot of arch. That's it. And then give yourselves a hug. You'll find your head comes a bit more forward with this one. So a little hug and a little wiggle side to side. Use the ball to get that twist and rotation. It really helps. Be heavy against it and press into it. And then open the arms and swap over. Same again. Bring your arms down. Bend your legs. You might need a bit of help. Yeah. And just give them a soft sway. We're not going for anything super strong here, just a soft little sway. That's lovely. And then let them rest in the middle like a sort of M shape. Hands out to the side, scoop up the air, lean back against your ball if you want to, bring your hands together and into your chest. Oh, well done, everybody.